Hi there! Thanks for coming back. So today's lesson, we're actually going to be talking about the importance of breakfast and what makes a whole grain a whole grain. So we will be making yogurt parfaits with granola and talking about all those healthy things that go along with it. Let's go. Let's start with whole grains and what they are. Can you think of any? Whole grains. Well, I know that we made English muffin pizzas in our last class. Was there a whole grain there? You're right. The English muffin that I used was whole grain. Not all English muffins are whole grain, but later on in today's lesson, I will teach you how you can find out. Can you think of any other grains? You're right. Popcorn, whole wheat bread, brown rice, quinoa. All of these are whole grains. There's a lot more where that came from. So let's go talk about why whole grains are so important for you. All right, so we have lots of different types of grains out there. There's a lot of examples down here at the bottom. We've already talked about a few. Bread, pasta, oatmeal, cereal, tortillas, popcorn, and rice. All of these are grains. When we are eating grains, we want to make sure we're eating at least half of the grains that we consume as whole grains. So that means not just having white bread and white pasta and white rice all the time, but at least half of the time trying to have the whole grain alternative. Whole grain pasta, brown rice, whole grain bread. So let's look at the difference between a whole grain and a white grain. A whole grain has three parts. So let's picture oatmeal. I have some oatmeal here that I was cooking to make our granola. So picture this as being a little piece of oatmeal. On the outer edge, we have the bran. That's the fiber-rich layer that protects the seed. It also has B vitamins and trace minerals. This little part in the center here is the germ. It's the small nutrient-rich core that contains antioxidants, including vitamin E, B vitamins, and healthy fats. All of these things sound good for us. Then we have this part in the middle, and look at how much there is of this part compared to this part and this part. There's a lot more. This is called the endosperm. It's the middle layer that contains carbohydrates as well as a little bit of protein, mostly carbohydrate. So what does carbohydrate do for you, you ask? Well, it gives you energy. But if you're not using that energy, those carbohydrates might turn to sugar in your body. So when you're eating whole grains, you're eating a more complex carbohydrate that does better things in your body than just the white grain. Because didn't I say some great things about the germ? And didn't I say some great things about the bran? Vitamins, minerals, all these good things. And look at this white grain. It looks like they've removed the bran. They've removed the germ. They've left only the endosperm, which is that carbohydrate source. But they took out all the fiber that keeps you full and the vitamins and minerals that are so good for your body. So, why would they do that? Oh, you're right. Because a lot of people think that white bread and white pasta and white rice, they think it tastes better. Well, I think they're wrong. I think they just need to try more things. Try the brown rice, try the whole wheat bread, and maybe just get used to it because it's really good and it has all of the good parts still in it. So that's one reason that they refine grains. They think that they'll sell more because people like it better. So if they sell more, what does the company make? Oh, the company makes extra money because they're selling more. So companies refine grains because we prefer, as a population, refined grains such as white bread and white pasta. They also do it because they can sell more and make more money. So I want you to think for a second. Do you prefer white bread or whole wheat bread? Do you prefer white rice or brown rice? Do you prefer white pasta or whole wheat pasta, which is a brown color? Once you've answered those questions, you might understand what I mean here. A lot of us seem to prefer the white grain. But the inside of our body and our health does not prefer it. Let's look at a few examples. This is a package of English muffins that I have in my freezer. Actually, the same English muffins I use to make our English muffin pizzas. But when I turn the package around, I noticed that the first ingredient says organic sprouted wheat. Well, look at these things. Doesn't that look healthy? It says flourless sprouted whole grain English muffins. It says sprouted grain, 0 sugar, 22 grams of whole grains. That looks really, really healthy. But I can't be tricked by the front of the package. But guess what? Seems like Miss Emily might have been tricked while she was grocery shopping. When I turn this package around and I look at the first ingredient, the number 1 first ingredient, and it says organic sprouted wheat, this actually is not a whole grain product. The first ingredient is the ingredient that there is the most of in the product. The ingredients are listed by weight. So way down here at the bottom of the list, we have sea salt. There's very little sea salt in here. It's made mostly of organic sprouted wheat. So even though the front of the package makes it look super, super healthy, the word whole is not here. If this said whole organic sprouted wheat or organic sprouted whole wheat, then I would know that I'm getting a whole grain. But it doesn't say it. So Miss Emily was actually tricked by the front of the packaging, and this is not a whole grain food. Even though it says 22 grams of whole grains, if it's not the first ingredient, then it is not considered a whole grain food. Oh my, I guess I better rethink next time I'm grocery shopping. Let's check out our oats. So these are our quick oats. On the front, it says 100% whole grain oats. But I don't know if I can believe that because apparently I was tricked on the other package. So where should I look to make sure this is a whole grain? You're right, I need to find the ingredients. So it's normally near the nutrition facts label. So here's my nutrition facts label and I'm looking. Oh, ingredients. Whole grain rolled oats. What is the magic word that I just said? You're right, whole. Now I know that this, in fact, is a whole grain product. But please remember the front of the package can trick you. Also remember that, as I said, it's important to eat whole grains, but it doesn't have to be every single grain you eat. If you enjoy white rice, that's still okay. If you enjoy white bread, that's still okay. You do want to make sure you are getting whole grains at least half of the time. All right, so now that we know the difference between whole grains and refined grains, let's talk about why breakfast is so important. Breakfast is your first meal of the day. Breakfast is setting you up for success for the rest of your day. The healthier your breakfast is in the morning, the more you will want to continue eating healthy food throughout the day. Having a breakfast high in fiber will help you stay full longer and be able to wait longer before your next meal. Also, getting a good dose of vitamins and minerals and all of those healthy parts of fruits and vegetables will help you stay focused for the day as well. So please remember, when you're making breakfast, you want to make sure you are making a balanced meal containing at least 3 food groups. So I'd like you to pause this video for a second and think about your breakfast this morning. Did you have at least 3 food groups? If not, how could you make it better for tomorrow? Also, take some time to brainstorm some breakfast ideas that you could try with your family. Remember, at least 3 food groups, lots of colors, and some good energy to get you through that day. So let's make a parfait together. There is a recipe right here that you can pause this video and look at, but when I make a parfait, I kind of just like to eyeball it, which means I don't use specific measurements. If you're comfortable doing that, you can try, but if you're more comfortable following a recipe, please feel free to pause it, use the skills I taught you about reading a recipe in the last video, and create your parfait using this page. So let's get started. For my ingredients, I have yogurt, I have blueberries, strawberries, and I have my granola. You can use packaged granola, you could use cereal, you can use whatever you'd like. The way that I made this was I put a little bit of oil in the bottom of the pan, and all I did was put in some whole grain quick oats that I showed you before and some cinnamon. If you wanted to sweeten it up, you could add a dab of maple syrup or raisins or craisins. You could add nuts or seeds. I didn't have a whole lot of those things, so I just chose to make some plain oat granola. So when you make a parfait, you can make it however you want. I'm going to, like I said, not follow the measurements on the parfait page. I'm going to just do what I think will taste good, but you can choose what you want to do. A good chef doesn't have to follow a recipe. So I put some oats in the bottom of my cup. And I think I'll add some plain yogurt on top of that. And if you don't like plain yogurt, remember you could add a little bit of cinnamon or maple syrup to your yogurt as well if you need to sweeten it up a bit. But if you're using a strawberry or raspberry yogurt, you are adding a lot of extra sugar that your body doesn't need. All right, next I think I'll put in a few blueberries, and I'm just layering my parfait. And like I said, I'm just doing it however I want. I'll put all the blueberries in. Save the strawberries for the top. So now I will use my granola, and this pan's cool and my hands are clean. I always wash my hands when I'm cooking. If this pan was hot or if my hands were dirty, I would not be doing this. And if I were serving this to someone other than myself, I also would not have done that, but this is my parfait. All right, I'll go ahead and put another scoop of yogurt. And now I will get my strawberries on top. And I have a beautiful parfait. Let me show you what it looks like from the side. Look at that. It looks good enough to eat. So, I hope that you are able to, at some point, make yourself a parfait. It does not have to be strawberries and blueberries. It could be kiwi, it could be pear, it could be mango, it could be banana, whatever you want to use. Remember, your granola could be store-bought. It could be plain quick oats like I used. It could also just be cereal. Whatever you'd like to use will taste great. I hope you enjoy.